YouTube, what is going on today, guys? Today we will be rebuilding the Green Bay Packers, taking over as Coach Matt LaFleur. So let's get into this one and let's take a look at the team. All right, before I ramble about this team for too long, I do want to say if you enjoy the videos or you want to see more, leave a like, go ahead and subscribe as we are on our way to try to hit my end of the year goal of 100 subscribers. And thank you for subscribing if you are not new here at the same time. Now, the Green Bay Packers, this is my favorite team. The offense is in I'd say a weird spot, as we are going to bump Jordan Morgan up here to right guard. I think he'd do better there. Last year, the regular season wasn't really shocking. 9-8. It's kind of where a lot of people figured this team would be. Just a lot of weapons on offense. Now, this year, they got to see if they can put it together again and try and make another run. Hopefully, do better than 9-8 and get back into the playoffs. They added Josh Jacobs, kept A.J. Dillon, drafted Marshawn Lloyd, who seems to is probably looking to take over that A.J. Dillon spot. The receiver, of course, we have Dobbs, who is the number one in this offense. Jaden Reed, who is kind of the slot guy, and Christian Watson, who will be the second outside player for this offense. Two young and promising tight ends in Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. They both showed a good bit of promise. You got Rasheed Walker at the right tackle, Jordan Morgan, of course, the rookie at right guard, Josh Myers, the center that we're probably going to look to replace fairly early, Elton Jenkins, and Zach Tom, who finally got a dev trait in this year's Madden, as he can play anywhere on the offensive line. Actually, a lot of these guys can. So a really, really good young offense that can develop really well. Now, defensively, of course, you start with the defensive line in Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, and Preston Smith. A new defensive scheme this year under Jeff Hafley. I'm excited to see how that goes. Of course, we've known how bad they've been under Joe Barry the previous couple years. Cornerback spot is better in real life than it is in Madden, I feel. But you have Jair and Eric Stokes, the third-year player now. If he can get past the hamstring injuries, kind of could show a lot of promise. You got the rookie Javon Bullard at the strong safety and Oladapo as well. Eric Wilson, of course, huge fumble recovery in the playoff game against San Fran. Edrin Cooper, a rookie middle linebacker, showing a lot of promise. You have Quay Walker, of course, that as long as he can keep from pushing people and getting kicked out of games, is a difference maker. Has really good sideline to sideline speed, and then added Xavier McKinney at the free safety spot. So a lot of promising pieces on this team. This team could be really good, especially defensively, as long as you got the right person behind the call sheet. All right, so let's get into the year. I want to see how we're doing at the midpoint. We're going to go ahead and actually get to the beginning of the season so I can do the scouting and all that. But we will probably not show that. We'll just get y'all to the midseason. We'll see you there. All right, we are at the midseason, and Jordan Love is second in the league in passing with 1,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's a little high. Rushing-wise, Josh Jacobs, of course, at 632 and 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Christian Watson leading the way with 524 and 6. Romeo Dobbs with 412, 0 touchdowns. Jaden Reed, 303 and 5. Musgrave with 193 and 2. Defensively, Edrin Cooper leading the team in tackles is promising. Kenny Clark in tackles for loss, and Kenny Clark in sacks, with Rashawn Gary also having 3. Van Ness with 2. And a couple other people got half sacks. Only 3 interceptions. You really like to see more. Maybe we should really focus a third cornerback in the draft. But we're 3 and 4. I don't know if we know any dev traits yet. Let's see. Of course, we don't know Lloyd's. Jordan Morgan is a star dev. Defensively, Edgerrin Cooper is a star dev, and so is Bullard. So that wraps it up for... You know what? We're going to start Tyron Hooper. Hopefully, he can actually develop fairly good. I might, from here on out, actually make him a focus player. Let's see who our focus players are. Yeah, we're going to take Marshawn Lloyd off the focus player, and we're going to put Tyron Hooper and try to get him to develop pretty nicely. All right, now we have to negotiate some contracts. Of course, Jordan Love has been paid in real life, will be paid in this game. So he's staying around. Kenny Clark also will stay. We'll get him a 3-year deal. It'll get him here till he's 31. Eric Stokes, I don't want to overpay, but we'll work with him a little bit. I don't mind a 3-year 5. We'll keep working with that. A.J. Dillon. Probably not going to keep A.J. Dillon just because they're not going to keep him after this year in real life, I wouldn't assume anyway. Quay Walker and Devontae, well, we'll accept Quay Walker's, TJ Slayton. I don't know about Bo Melton. We'll see. We kind of have a good 3 receivers anyway. National Focus Scouting, of course, we are going to move that to defensive tackle. And let's get to the end of the year. We will see you there. All right, we are at the end of the year, and Jordan Love, I mean, turnovers are high. 4,100 yards, though, 42 touchdowns. That would be good. But 19 interceptions is a little high. Josh Jacobs, of course, 1,200 yards. Only 6 rushing touchdowns, which is a little disappointing. Receiving-wise, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs both going over 1,000 yards. Christian Watson, though, with 17 touchdowns. Jaden Reed had 9. Musgrave with 5. And Josh Jacobs with 2. So hopefully he gets a dev up there. Gave up a lot of sacks, of course. Defensively, Edgerrin Cooper with 120 tackles, leading the way. Rashawn Gary tackles for loss. And Kenny Clark and sacks. Not seeming to get a lot of pressure, really. And did we have any good interception? Jair with 4, Quay Walker with 2, Eric Stokes with 2, and Corey Ballantyne with 1 as well. We finished the year 7-10, which is a little upsetting because normally in the sim I see this Green Bay team being top of the NFC North, always into the playoffs, top seed in the NFC. But it helps our draft, so especially here in year 1. So let's get to the Super Bowl and let's take a look at our yearly awards. Josh Allen winning the MVP. Jordan Love at the 10 spot. Coach of the Year, we did not make the list, of course. NFC, Devontae Smith winning Offensive Player of the Year. Christian Watson at 5. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. We are not on the list. Offensive Rookie of the Year going to J.J. McCarthy. We are not on the list. Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Brandon Fisk. Edgerrin Cooper at 5. Would have liked to have seen him higher with 120 tackles. Best quarterback, Jordan Love at 5. Best running back goes to Zeke. Josh Jacobs at 6. Wow. Best wide receiver, Christian Watson at 2. And that is all. Offensive line, we are not on the list. Best defensive line, not on the list. Best linebacker, again, not on the list. Best DB, Jair at 6. Best kicker, we are at Anders Carlson is at 7, who they no longer have in real life. And that's going to do it for the awards. The Super Bowl San Fran against Baltimore. Let's see who wins that. All right, the season recap. We've already gone over the awards, and Baltimore wins the Super Bowl. Lamar getting his first Super Bowl championship of his career. And the Baltimore Ravens getting their first one in a while. When was the last time they won? It's the Kaepernick year. I can't remember what year it was. Let's take a look at our dev traits. See who gained, see who lost. Okay, so Jordan Love did go up. That's interesting. With 19 interceptions. Christian Watson, of course, went up as well. I kind of want to keep, well, we'll kind of keep that the same. Josh Jacobs stays the same. No growth on the offensive line as, why did Rasheed Walker just get benched there? Tight end, I thought about switching to Kansas City playbooks just to get the tight ends to go up, but not happening. Defensively, Preston Smith loses his dev trait, so he will probably get benched for Lucas Van Ness. Eric Stokes loses his dev trait. That's a little upsetting. Did Rashawn Gary lose his dev trait too? Was he superstar? He did. He went down to star dev as well. Not getting sacks this year really hurt us, but our offense gained where our defense fell. So let's get to the free agency. I don't think I'm re-signing anybody. We're going to look mainly for offensive line in the free agency. I think that is kind of an area that Green Bay would target. All right, free agency is here, and I would love to sign JOK, but that is, and there's no way Green Bay's doing that. I'd like to keep this a little realistic. And we know we need, it's just they're really not bringing in any of these guys. Right, this year was the first year they kind of made a splash, in quotes, splash play in the free agency going after Josh Jacobs, but it's not really like them to do. So I'm kind of trying to see players that they would maybe go after. I just don't see, none are sticking out, I should say. Let's look at, we know we need a defensive tackle. All right, this is all we're going after. Walker Little, he's just a right tackle. We go ahead and get him. There wasn't any good fits for our team in the free agency this year, as really all we needed, there weren't any good tight ends. There weren't really any good, I mean, like, we don't need a wide receiver. We don't need a running back. You know, there was some centers there, but they're all super old. I'd rather target that in the draft. Same with guard. Defensively, though, like, we knew. Okay, so we need to target linebacker in the draft. I didn't realize we had 0. We need to target linebacker in the draft. We know that. We're going to target corner. And defensive tackle is another one that we know we have to target. So we'll just kind of leave those as our targets for now. And let's get to the draft and see if we can get some good players in. All right, it is draft time. And here's what I think we do. We have the 12th pick. I think we trade back. We're going to see who's available at pick 12, though. I mean, this right guard would be a good addition, this cornerback. So we kind of need several late day picks or later in the day picks. So let's see where we can go from here and try to get some. I want picks this year. That's the problem. Which the Ravens are offering this year's first, which is 32, another first next year, and a third this year. That's very likely that we take the Ravens. Or the Lions are offering a lot. 27, 59. Let's see here. I think we're going to take this Ravens package. It's the 32nd pick, their first rounder next year, a third this year. And that 32nd pick might as well be a second rounder. Actually, I'm wondering if we can trade back a little bit anyway and try to get like the Raiders here, but that's just 2 sevenths, 42 a fifth, 46 a third in 2 years, a first another first next year, see, and a third. I might take this Philadelphia. That would give us 3 first round picks next year, which is pretty nice, and another third this year. So we're going to go ahead and take that. Didn't really exactly give us what we want, but we know we have pick 12 next round. Let's see what of our players are still here. All right, let's see. Our corner is still here. Daryl Moss, welcome to Green Bay. Not the fastest, but looks really good. He's a top 5 talent in the draft. Ranked at 4, got him at 44. He's hidden dev. He's our third corner. We got round 3, pick 12. Jeremy Truman. Looks pretty good. Hopefully a hidden dev. And he is a hidden dev. He will start this year. Matt Blanton, a run stopper archetype. Go ahead and bring him in at 36. Another hidden dev player. Really good draft so far. And let's go to our next pick. And I'm not going to push this linebacker any further. Just because he's a round 1 talent, right? Like, you got to trust the true talent. We need linebackers. True talent is a 10. He might be a normal dev, but a true talent at 10 in the class, you take that every day. All right, time to look at the draft recap. We got a lot of good players. Yeah, I am happy with this. You know, got the miss in there with Hillman and these two at the end, but 570 pluses, right? RJ Jackson, a hidden dev. Brian Nugent isn't hidden dev, but a 75 overall. Normal dev is fine. Blanton, hidden dev. Jeremy Truman, hidden dev. And Darrell Moss, a hidden dev. We made this team a lot better this draft. Let's go to the next week. We'll add them to the team. All right, this is the team ahead of year 2. Of course, the wide receiver core is still the same. Still got Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love. Added Truman to this offensive line, so that should help. He should develop nicely. Defensively, we added Blanton and RJ Jackson to the defensive line. Moved Lucas Van Ness to the right end just because I want to see him get snaps and develop. We added Darrell Moss to the cornerback core. Hopefully, he will probably take over Eric Stokes' role here soon. Xavier McKinney, is he starting to regress or is he just an 84? There's no way he... Yeah, he regressed terribly last year at 27, so we'll probably have to start looking for a replacement for him soon. Bullard is playing up to an 82 already. Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper doing good in the middle. We still have Tyron Hooper, who we will look to replace this draft, hopefully. But the team's in a really good spot. I have a lot of faith in the team as we have a lot of superstars in the right places. I want Lucas Van Ness rushing the passer. Shouldn't have a problem with the way this team plays now, so let's get to the midseason and see how we're performing. All right, we are at the midseason and we have no money. We are gonna have to pull some top of the line Brian Gutekunst restructures here because we kind of want to keep some of these guys around. So we're going to restructure Jair. We are going to restructure Josh Jacobs. And we're going to restructure Rashawn Gary. Those three should clear up enough space. Probably won't show right now. Yeah, it put me negative 10 mil in the hole. So we're going to have to wait on re-signing players. But we are 4-3. We're second in the division behind Minnesota, whose playbooks do so well. But as you can see, Jordan Love is second in the league in passing right now. And looks like he should be 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's what you want to see out of a quarterback. Josh Jacobs, 505 and 4 touchdowns. Jaden Reed, 535, 5 touchdowns. Christian Watson, 473 and 7. Luke Musgrave with 4 touchdowns. And Romeo Doubs with 4 touchdowns as well. Not letting up a ton of sacks. Defensively, Quay Walker leading the team in tackles with Edgerrin Cooper right behind him. Rashawn Gary in tackles for loss. Rashawn Gary also in sacks with 4. Devontae Wyatt with 4. Matt Blanton with 3. Kenny Clark with 2. Lucas Van Ness with 1.5. Colby Wooden with 1. And Edgerrin Cooper with a half sack. 2 picks for Bullard. 1 for Quay Walker. 1 for Jair Alexander. You really like to see more in that turnover department, but when you're not getting to the quarterback, it doesn't matter. Now, it looks as if I don't know what happened to this offensive line or why it did that. Okay, there we go. That was ridiculous. Josh Myers is hurt. We can put Little up here to the center for the time being. Jordan Love playing really well. I mean, all the receivers are playing well. Even Musgraves is doing pretty good defensively. Don't know any dev traits yet except for Moss, who is a superstar dev. So we're going to go ahead and pop him on the outside over Stokes. And tell me why Lucas Van Ness is not getting, well, at least he's getting the rush right in. Yeah, so that's the team right now at the midseason. We're 4-3, so we are winning games, which is a good sign. And we beat the Eagles and the Chargers. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that name for a minute. So let's go ahead and get to the playoffs. I have a good feeling about this year. I think we're going to make it. All right, this is the end of year 2. We fell apart. Jordan Love had an awesome year. 4,100 yards, 47 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Did he have, and a rushing touchdown. Josh Jacobs, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns receiving. Christian Watson and Jaden Reed going over 1,000. 3 receivers with 10-plus touchdowns. Christian Watson with 14, Jaden Reed with 10, and Romeo Doubs with 15. Musgraves had 6 himself. Gave up a decent amount of sacks. Edgerrin Cooper led the team in tackles. Kenny Clark in tackles for loss. Rashawn Gary right behind him. Rashawn Gary leading the team in sacks. Preston Smith behind him with 5.5. And just, I mean, it's a good total number of sacks. Edgerrin Cooper, 5 interceptions. 4 for Jair, 3 for Bullard, 2 for Stokes, and 1 for Quay Walker. Not bad. We end up going 10-7 and not making the playoffs. Which when I stopped to do the scouting at week 13, we were 7-4. So we fell apart at the end. Let's see if we know our dev traits. Truman is this game, man. I have auto reorder off, and it just keeps wanting to push Jordan Morgan out of the starting spot. Truman developing nicely, almost to an 80 overall. Defensively, Blanton, we don't know Blanton's dev trait yet. They put Lucas Van Ness back over there. We still do know Moss's. How far off is he from 75 snaps? Let's just see what it is. I'm probably going to have to put it back because he probably will regress. It's just star. Nothing is wrong with that. We'll check JC's or was it? It's RJ Jackson. We'll check RJ Jackson's as well. I don't assume his is very high, being he has not gone up drastically. Yeah, his is star as well. Neither one of them have developed super nicely. I mean, Blanton's up to a 76, which is good. We really need to focus the right outside, even though Tyron Hopper isn't developing terribly, up to a 75. We don't make the playoffs. Somehow we're third in the division behind Minnesota and Detroit. I'm really, really upset about that. We fall off at the end of the year. Do we even, it says fill staff. We don't have any spots to fill. So let's get to the Super Bowl, see what happens. The Texans and the Panthers. That is an odd Super Bowl, but we are at the yearly awards. Jordan Love coming in fourth for MVP. We are not on the list for Coach of the Year, as Matt LaFleur gets, never on that, it seems. Offensive Player of the Year, Christian Watson and Jordan Love back-to-back at 6 and 7. Defensive Player of the Year, Edgerrin Cooper at 6. Offensive Rookie of the Year, we are not on the list. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we are also not on the list. Best quarterback goes to Jordan Love. Best running back, Josh Jacobs at 5. Best wide receiver, Christian Watson at 2. Romeo Doubs at 7. Best offensive line, Josh Myers at 3, which is weird. Best defensive line, Rashawn Gary at 10. Best linebacker, Edgerrin Cooper at 9. How do you only get 9 there? Best DB, Jair at 10, and best kicker, Carlson at 6. So we get best quarterback, which is cool. That's about the only thing we get. Let's see who wins this Super Bowl. I believe it will go to the Houston Texans, as I figured it would, as they get their first ever, maybe? Don't really know. Let's take a look at our dev traits. As Jordan Love goes up to Superstar X Factor, playing up to a 90 overall, we don't get anything for the receiving core. I mean, 15 touchdowns. You'd think he would go up in dev trait. And I mean, Christian Watson was 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. You'd like to see a little bit more development on their end, but not going to complain too much, as Luke Musgrave does go up in dev, so that is nice. Defensively, Edgerrin Cooper goes up to Superstar Dev. I figured Blanton would lose his dev trait. I'm surprised Rashawn Gary hasn't lost his yet. Bullard goes up to Superstar Dev as well. Our defense is in a pretty good spot. I wouldn't say we need... Kenny Clark lost his Superstar Dev. I wouldn't say we need a defensive tackle, but why do they have Tyron Hooper as a power rusher? Because that is definitely not his archetype. Like, at all. He's kind of a run stopper pass coverage guy. But that's the team at the end of year 2 now. We do have some re-signings to do, as it's looking like we're going to lose a lot of players. We better have more. We only have $7 million. We got to focus Zach Tom, and we don't even have enough to sign him. I figured we would have cleared more than $7 million. Okay, we got some room. We need to focus Zach Tom first. Let's keep him around. Christian Watson, I would like to keep as well, as he is a superstar dev. You're not going to the free agency, actually. You're going to get franchise tagged. Oh, that killed us, huh? Lucas Van Ness is just a 5th-year option. We can't re-sign Romeo Doubs. That is upsetting, and it looks like he's going to go to the free agency, but we should be okay. We have 3 first-round draft picks, so we might have to focus a receiver here soon. So let's get to the draft, because we don't have any money for the free agency. All right, it is draft time. Of course, we have 3 first-round draft picks. Probably going to take at least 1 or 2 of them, because we have no cap to sign anybody. All right, so we're going to take this safety first, Rich Kirkpatrick. Looks pretty good. Ranked at 16, got him an 18. Hidden dev, as Javon Bullard is going down. Let's go to our next user pick. We're going with who we know is good. Ricky Green, a round 1 to 2 talent. Welcome to Green Bay. Romeo Dobbs replacement. Hidden Dev. He's slow. Wow. 88 speed, huh? All right, this next pick we are going to trade away. Did I just simulate it? I just simulated it, huh? I did. I don't know who I drafted. That is upsetting. But we know what we need to go after now, and that is... I mean, Marcus Davenport. We still got receivers here. I don't really know who to go after, as a lot of these guys, linebacker-wise, we're looking at later. So let's just go ahead and get Joey Booth as well. He's a round 1 talent. 12, got him at 50, a normal dev. That's kind of what we figured. Advance to next user pick, which is pick 318. This is where stuff is going to get a little tricky, as we kind of know we need left outside linebacker. I think Nigel Nash is going to be the pick. He's the best player on our board, I believe. So he is coming to Green Bay. Welcome. Ranked at 36. Got him at 82. Another hidden dev player. I kind of folded with not being able to trade back when I wanted to. But it is what it is. All right. And another left outside linebacker in Josh Vega. 1 to 2 talent. I'm just stocking this linebacker position. We'll be able to move them all around, and he is a hidden dev as well. Draft recap time. Let's see how we did. Okay, we did really good. Look at all the 70s. Kirkpatrick is a 75. Ricky Green a 74. Enrique Lindsley a 73. Joey Booth a 76. Nigel Nash a 74. Vega a 74. Devin Jones a 71. And then I guess we just... Oh, these guys were all on our board. They are not great, but they were on our board when we simulated out. Tevin Frazier. Is this who it picked? This is who it picked, the one I tried to simulate from. That's not terrible, though. A 73 overall, hidden dev. This is a guy we're going to move to center right now. And he is going to take Josh Lindsay's spot. Okay, that works out really, really well. I mean, I wanted to trade that pick back and get more, but it is what it is. All right, this is the team before we get into year 3. Why is Jordan Morgan not... Okay, there we go. This is the team going into year 3. We know we want Green up here getting reps. He is our rookie. We need a good replacement for Romeo Dobbs. He should be it. The offensive line is in a good spot. Of course, Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs are in good spots as well. Defensively, I think Vega is going to get the start over Hooper. Kirkpatrick, of course, behind Xavier McKinney. Bullard still at that superstar dev. Moss superstar as well. So our corners are in good standing. Our defensive line is okay. I really wish Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark would put up better sack numbers. Same with Lucas Van Ness. But we've done a fairly decent job in drafting this team. Booth is actually going to get... I'm going to let him get the slot carries. Maybe go for a rookie of the year. Let's get to the midseason and see how this team is performing. All right, do we have any money to re-sign? We do, but we have to re-sign Jair. Let's see. He doesn't want to be here, huh? I mean, we don't have a lot of money. He might just have to walk. Christian Watson, I'd love to keep around, but Okay, Christian Watson staying. We only have $5.5 million left, and we have a lot of people to re-sign. Holy crap. All right, Elton Jenkins is going to go. We're not going to overpay him. Quay Walker, we might have to let all these guys walk, to be honest with you. Unless we can get more money in the future. But we are 6-1. Let me get this. See, if we have to get rid of Jaden Reed, hopefully we have some replacements for him in this year's draft. As wide receiver is the strong suit. But let's see what's dragging us to this 6-1 start as Jordan Love, again, 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 532 yards, and 7 touchdowns for Josh Jacobs. Even Marshawn Lloyd with 3 of his own receiving. Jaden Reed, 481 and 4 touchdowns. Christian Watson, 426 and 7. Dontavian Wicks, 410 and 3. Booth with 187 and 2. And Musgraves with 170 and 1. I would like to see our rookies get the ball more. Blocking. Not giving up a lot of sacks, which is good. Defensively, Edgerrin Cooper leading the way in tackles. And Quay Walker, of course, right behind him. Kenny Clark with tackles for loss. Sacks, and not a lot for anybody else. Preston Smith, for whatever reason, having a breakout year with 7.5 sacks. Doesn't make sense. So Rashawn Gary only has 1 at the midpoint. Eric Stokes with 2 picks, 1 for a pile of others. Our defense in this game, in the sim, it's just stupid is the only way to put it. I want to see who the rush right ends and all that are. Because why is Preston Smith getting I had Booth over him. Why is Preston Smith getting all these sacks? For what reason? I do not know. I cannot figure it out. Because he is not starting anywhere, but he's getting sacks. So that's awesome. Lindsey is a star dev player. So we found 1 dev trait out. I really wanted him green over Dontavian Wicks. Again, if this is a team you're playing all these games and you're doing that, yeah, put Dontavian Wicks in there. He's going to feast. But in the sim, it's just not likely. So let's get to the playoffs, see if we make it. I hope we do this year. All right, we are at the end of year 3. Jordan Love, 4,100 yards, 46 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. His normal yard numbers. Josh Jacobs, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. Receiving, Jaden Reed, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Christian Watson, 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Joey Booth, I don't like the yards, but 13 touchdowns is a really good number. Green still did not seem to see the field at all for whatever reason. Blocking, gave up a fair amount of sacks. Defense, Quay Walker leading the way with 124. Kenny Clark in tackles for loss. Preston Smith, 16.5 sacks. He's not starting anywhere. Nobody got hurt. I don't know what happened. Rashawn Gary's only got 2. I don't know. I have no answer for you. Eric Stokes with 4 picks, 2 for Quay Walker, 2 for Daryl Moss, 2 for Jair, 1 for Bullard, and 1 for Xavier McKinney. I did not mean to hit that. Who will more than likely regress this year. Why Preston Smith had a 16.5 sack season, I have no idea. We make the playoffs at 11-6 in this year 3. I don't see how he's getting to the field. I don't understand it. Why is Lindsey not starting? I mean, he's going to have to go to left guard next year anyway, probably, so it's not a big deal because we will lose Elton Jenkins. Everything else is the same. Booth is up to an 81. Defensively, I don't. Vega with the star dev. We don't know Kirkpatrick yet. All these people will probably lose their devs, so we will have to check that later. Preston Smith, I don't know what's happening. Lucas Van Ness is over. Rashawn Gary's an 80, playing to an 89 overall, gets 2 sacks. I mean, he's not even in the rush in spot. Maybe because he's rush DT. If that's what we were missing this whole time to get Preston Smith 16.5 sacks. Which, I mean, love Preston Smith. Hope the best for it, but not very realistic. So we have this wild card game. It is year 3. I want to win several Super Bowls with this team, so we are going to hop in here. I think we should beat this Panthers team. They did make it to the Super Bowl last year. They did not win, as they got blown out by the Texans. But Jordan Love taking on Bryce Young. This team is prepared and ready. Let's go to the end of the game as we get the ball first. We put 3 on the board and 10, and our defense is playing really well today as we are up 13-0, 20-0, 20-3, 27-3. That's probably the game there. 34-11, 41-11, just piling it on. That is a great win in the wild card. 41-18. Jordan Love, 231, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 84 yards and 3 touchdowns. Receiving wise, Jaden Reed with a touchdown. Tucker Kraft with a touchdown as well. Defensively, Preston Smith, 2 sacks. Rashawn Gary got 1, half of a season total here in the wild card. 2 interceptions, 1 for Jair and 1 for Javon Bullard. I really hope he plays like that in real life. That would be awesome. All right, the Detroit Lions, our division rival for the divisional round. Let's see if we can take down Detroit. I believe they probably still have Jared Goff, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. A really good Lions team with Dan Campbell at the head. Let's see who their quarterback is. It is still the goofball with some weird shoulders in this game, huh? All right, we're going to go to the end of the game, of course, as we have a night game here against Detroit. I would love to see us take this team down as Detroit starts off scoring first 7-0, 3-7, 14-3. Our offense needs to get it into gear. 6-14, 9-14. Field goals are not going to do it against this team. Well, all right, we are going to jump in here. We're just winding the clock down. 1:40 left. We need to beat this Detroit team. They don't have any timeouts. 4th and 2 there. What do? Do you go for it? Or do you just kick the field goal and hope for the best? I think we're going to kick the field goal and hope for the best. As we still got 3 timeouts, so we're not going to let all the time wind off the clock. We're going to go ahead and get it. That way, if they do score, we can get the ball back. We know they're going to pass the ball. Lucas Van Ness and, was that Quay Walker getting home for a sack? It was. Why is Quay Walker on the edge? As that ball is thrown at the feet of Amon-Ra St. Brown. They only need to get in field goal range. I really hope we're playing a little bit better than what we just were. Again, we know a pass is coming. And we are going to swat that down. It is 4th and 21. Should have gone for the pick there. We had that covered the entire way. Again, we know it's a pass. As Nugent is going to pick that one off, we get targeted again. And he's actually going to have a decent little return down to the 13, but we're going to kneel this one out. Green Bay is in victory formation. They have no timeouts remaining. That will do it for this game. Jordan Love, 276, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Josh Jacobs with 56 yards. Christian Watson, 80 yards. Jaden Reed, 76. Joey Booth, 78. Defensively, Preston Smith, of course, with a sack. Quay Walker and Lucas Van Ness splitting another, and Brian Nugent with the solo interception in this snooze fest. All right, who unlocked a new ability? Jordan Love. Getting to the NFC Championship game, as we have to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. We will hop into this one as well. Unfortunately, we are not in Brazil, as we will be tomorrow, but we are still playing the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's go to the end of the game and see what happens. We are on the board first. It is 7-7 though. 7-10. Can our offense keep it up? 13-7, 13-10. Our offense needs to get back on the board, as it is 16-17. I do not like this. Oh, and we are going to hop in here and make sure we can finish this one out. 3rd and 3 here. Do we just run it? Philadelphia has no timeout, so we were kind of in the same boat we were before, as why could I not get around there? All right, I'm going to do another field goal, I guess. A lot of time to burn off the clock. We're going to let this burn down and then kick it. As the kick is up and good, we have a 2-point lead on Philadelphia. So if they do happen to get into field goal range, we're a little screwed, but we do have 2 timeouts, so we can work with some stuff here. We just cannot use them to help them in any way. Do not let him get a kick return into field goal range. That would be detrimental. All right, we know they want to pass the ball. Okay, we got our starters in now. We know they want to pass the ball here. And Lucas Van Ness is going to get home for the sack. That is likely going to do it here. Six seconds left on the clock. As I don't know how he was able to get that one away. We kind of want to run prevent here, because I don't want anything getting... We know they're passing it. It's got to be... Swat it. Okay, don't let them catch it. That's into the game. We take down Philadelphia. Again, maybe with the help of me, maybe not, as I really didn't do anything but kick a field goal. The Kansas City Chiefs, of course, they're 14-3. They are way better than us overall wise. Let's take a look at this team before we hop in. Josh Jacobs going up to Superstar Dev. Joey Booth going up to Star Dev. Lindsey, I want him as the center. Musgraves keeps his Star Dev. Defensively, what do we have here? Vega and Nash, both Star Dev players. Jair loses his Star Dev, or his Superstar X Factor. Kenny Clark, though, gains a Superstar Dev, and Preston Smith gains a Star Dev. I'd really love for us to beat Kansas City. I don't see it happening, though. Let's go to the end of the game. See what happens, as we are on the board first. The question is, okay, we're 14-14, but can we stop their defense at all? It's not looking good. As, yeah, we are going to lose it. We're going to get blown out in the end, huh? Yeah. They really ran away with it there at the end. I probably should have jumped in, but it's only year 3. Jordan Love, 337, 3 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs with 37 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, Joey Booth, 127 and 2 touchdowns. Christian Watson with a touchdown as well. Defensively, it doesn't look like we got any sacks. We did not. No interceptions. Let's take a look at the yearly awards, as Josh Allen wins the MVP. Jordan Love at the 7 spot. Wow. Coach of the Year, we are at number 7. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Amon-Ra with Josh Jacobs at 10. Defensive Player of the Year, Preston Smith at 3, Quay Walker at 5. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Joey Booth, who hopefully we can get that double dev roll. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we are not on the list. Best quarterback, Jordan Love at 3. Best running back, Josh Jacobs at 3. Best wide receiver, Christian Watson at 8. Best offensive line, Jordan Morgan at 4. Best defensive line goes to Preston Smith. Best linebacker goes to Micah Parsons with Quay Walker at 5. Best DB, Eric Stokes at 4. Best kicker, not on the list. Booth did not get the double dev roll, but we have some good receivers in place since we are losing Jaden Reed. Josh Jacobs regresses back down to a superstar. Defensively, yeah, Preston Smith, of course. I bet you he went up to superstar. No, he just went up to star and immediately lost it. Kenny Clark also lost his superstar dev. Everything else stays the same though. Well, Nash lost his dev trait. All right, if we have 32 million, we can make some stuff happen. I want to keep Jair. I want him to be a lifetime Packer. Let's go ahead and keep him in the building. Oh, that only leaves us with 8.8 million. All right, Luke Musgrave is going to be the reoffer. Hopefully he takes it. And he does. Everybody else is going to walk. Saying goodbye to a lot of good Packers. But, hey, we just don't have the cap. Well, hold up. We got 20 million. Which means we could target some people. And we could potentially bring back... Do I bring back Quay Walker or do I bring back Elton Jenkins? Yeah, he's our top priority. Let's see if we got him. We didn't. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Who did we lose him to? LA. Now we have to kill this draft, and we do not have a good draft pick. We've kind of put together a board. It's not looking really good as linebackers kind of the hardest. Outside linebackers are the hardest position to draft, especially pass rushers. So we're really, really struggling there. But we don't have a pick till pick 31, so we're going to get there and see if any of our guys are still here. And there are some pass rushers, but they are not good. There are some pass rushers that are not good, and that is alarming. But we need one so badly. I think this has to be the pick. I don't think he's good, and I don't think he's going to be a hidden dev, but he's kind of got to be the pick. See what we got. 63. He is hidden dev. I will take that. He will start at right outside linebacker. Now, maybe we just get to our pick. We're going to take the left guard here. He's got to be the pick. Yeah. Ramon Macklin, he's the pick. Going to be a great replacement for Elton Jenkins. We're calling San Fran up. That's kind of where we want to get. All right, this is the trade. We're sending a third next year, a fourth this, a fifth next, and a seventh this for San Fran's third round pick. We know who we're targeting there. Hopefully, it looks like he is still on the list. And he is. Derek Friedman. Welcome to Green Bay. He's a round one talent. I doubt he's going to be hidden dev. Ranked at 22. He is hidden dev. Okay. Another receiver to replace Jaden Daniels. Let's get to our next pick in the third round. All right, draft recap time. Tavares McGowan was a 73 overall, but he is a hidden dev, so that is a plus. Ramon Macklin, a 74 overall left guard. Derek Friedman, a 75 overall receiver. Jaden Craig, 73 overall right guard. And then just, a backup cornerback and a kicker. Let's take a look at this team before we get into year 4. We have Macklin at left guard now. Of course, Craig backing him up, but our offensive line looks like it'll be in a really good spot by the end of the year. I think I might bump Friedman up to the 2 spot. And here's why. He's a rookie. Booth is obviously going to be the slot receiver. So we'll bump Friedman up to the 2 spot, see if we can get him a rookie of the year. The rest of our offensive line looks good. Jordan Love, obviously a 90 overall, superstar X factor. Defensively, McGowan getting the start at right outside. Edgerrin Cooper and Vega, the other 2 linebackers, are okay. Still got room to grow, though. Defensive line, we need to focus this year in the draft as Kenny Clark is getting older and starting to regress heavily. Our cornerbacks look really good. Should be okay for the next 2 years. So let's get to the midpoint and see how this team is playing. Hopefully, we're as good as we were last year. All right, we are at the mid-season, and we have a pile of money and a pile of people to re-sign. Holy cow. 122 mil, though. We know Javon Bullard is going to stay around, and he will be a Packer, so we will pay him. Oh, he didn't accept it. Edgerrin Cooper we want to keep around and keep a Packer, so we will pay him. Rashawn Gary, let's see if he takes this. He just doesn't perform well. Josh Jacobs is 29. I'll see if we can get a year out of him, maybe. 29, he's going to regress. Lucas Van Ness is still young enough. See if he takes that. He does. Xavier McKinney can go. Stokes can go. Lloyd can go. Tyron Hopper can go. Kenny Clark can go. The rest of the team can go. We'll keep our 42 mil. Bring Javon Bullard back. We already have McKinney's replacement. We're 4-3, so we're kind of middle of the road. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs, but Jordan Love, 1,700 yards, 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Josh Jacobs starting to go downhill already. Receiving, Christian Watson, 578 and 6. Booth, 517 and 5. Friedman, 362 and 6 touchdowns. Not giving up, or giving up a lot of sacks. Edgerrin Cooper leading the way in tackles. Kenny Clark in tackles for loss and sacks. Rashawn Gary, a high so far in the rebuild with 3, which is insane. Only 3 interceptions. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we go ahead and trade off Xavier McKinney. This is something that Green Bay would do, right? We saw last year they traded off Rasul Douglas in real life. You have the guy behind him in Kirkpatrick. Let's go ahead and trade away Xavier McKinney. He didn't really ever get that good, honestly, for Green Bay. And they take that. Okay, so we add a second to our draft capital of what we have this year. Getting rid of him. Now, I don't really want to get rid of Josh Jacobs unless we can flip him for a younger player. We're going to take this trade right here from the Steelers. And now what we're going to do is, and this might be a little bit on the, call it what you want, call it unrealistic, yada, yada, yada. Danny Wharton, you're coming to Green Bay with me. All right, there's your trade for a new running back in town as Josh Jacobs. We're not going to re-sign him, and he's going to regress. So we add Wharton. That should be good enough. He's a right outside linebacker too. We should still find ourselves in the playoffs here. This is a good enough team. Let's get this running back some yards. Let's get into the playoffs. I think we're going to make it. I feel good. All right, we do make the playoffs. We are 9-8 though. Let's see how our team fared. Jordan Love still doing Jordan Love stuff. 4,100 yards, 41 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Rushing, Danny Wharton did okay. Granted, we only got him the second half of the year, so he would have averaged about 1,000 and 4 touchdowns. Receiving wise, Christian Watson, 12 and 9. Joey Booth 12 and 17, and our rookie 444 and 7, which I do not like. Letting up a lot of sacks still. Defensively, Edgerrin Cooper leading the way. Kenny Clark in sacks. Rashawn Gary with 6. Lucas Van Ness with 4.5. Elijah Donald. Oh, he was our rookie. He was the new guy we got with 3.5. Our rookie probably didn't even see the field because this is game stupid. Edgerrin Cooper 3 picks. Kirkpatrick 2. Darrell Moss 2. Brian Nugent with 1, and Jair Alexander with 1 as well. We finished 9 and 8, which is a little upsetting. Let's take a look at the roster. Wharton still has not revealed his dev trait. He needs like 200 more snaps. Let's see if we can get that in this playoff run. Booth is hurt. Friedman took the bench to Riley Green. Or not Riley Green, but whatever Green. Oh, Jordan Morgan is hurt. That is lovely. Jordan Love, though, playing up to a 95 overall. Defensively, of course, McGowan got benched again there. Why does it do that? Year 4 playoff game, of course, you know we're hopping in. Let's see if we can take down Chicago. We have the same overall as them. Let's go to the end of the game, see if we can take down Chicago. We are on the board first. They do tie it, though, 7-7. They are up 14-7. Get back in the end zone, team. All right. Come on. What are we doing here? 14-24, 14-31, as we will. All right, we lose to the Chicago Bears. Whatever. Don't like that at all. Our team is like, we're there, but we're not. I don't know why our offense is struggled. Maybe we need a better receiver or something. We're going to the end of the Super Bowl, though. Season recap. The Kansas City Chiefs take down the Washington Commanders, as we don't know if we have any award winners there. Let's take a look at the team, see how we progressed and regressed. It's a great way, easy way to replace Josh Jacobs. Booth going up to Superstar Dev, now an 88 overall. Of course, we know Jordan Morgan is hurt. Craig has a Star Dev. Jordan Love still at that Superstar X Factor. Defensively, Kenny Clark loses his Dev trait. McGowan doesn't lose his. Edgerrin Cooper goes up to Superstar X Factor. Kirkpatrick goes up to Superstar. And the D-line needs attention. That is going to be our focus in this draft. We will make something happen if we need to. Let's get to the re-sign period, see who we got to keep around. All right, let's just offer him this. Javon Bullard is staying. Eric Stokes can go. We will replace him. Marshawn Lloyd can go. Tyron Hooper can go. I'm tired of him stealing. Yeah, everybody else can go. Hopefully there's some good free agents in here. Creed Humphrey, a 95 overall center. Man, do you do that? Do you just bring him in for no reason? That's who we're targeting. I think we should be able to get all these guys. I hope. We don't get Creed Humphrey. You go to the Broncos that weren't even on the list? Dude, we get the kicker and Julius Brents. I guess that's all we're going for. I mean, we offered way more money to Creed Humphrey than the Broncos did. I guess he likes it there better. All right, it is NFL draft time. This is our goal. We got to get to pick 8. All right, the Giants get our entire future so we can get up to pick 8 and get this defensive tackle. So let's go get him. It is Faulkner here. Looks pretty good. We need a defensive tackle. He is a scheme fit. Normal dev. Wow. That is upsetting. The defensive tackles in this class were terrible. This center, Jason Meadows. I don't think we really need one, but kind of says it's one of our weaknesses. A top 5 player. If he's good enough, he might start right away. we can reshuffle the offensive line. Draft recap time. Charles Faulkner is a bust at pick 8, 73 overall, normal dev, not great. Jason Meadows, though, a 76 overall. Alex Harris, 75 overall. He'll be a great tight end, too. Yeah, this is what the team is looking like. We're in a really good spot. I mean, honestly, except for tight end, it's really our weakness here. Christian Watson, though, playing decent. Booth is really good. Defensively, our defensive line needs help. We've struggled to get pressure the entire rebuild. But safeties and defensive backs are really good, so I have no complaints there. This is not looking good for us. Jordan Love really struggling this year. Rushing wise, still really struggling. Not scoring a lot of points, not letting up sacks. We're just not moving the ball. Defensively, Edrin Cooper leading the team in tackles. Rashawn Gary in tackles for loss. Not getting any sacks, of course, and only 2 interceptions. We're playing really bad football so far this year. All right, we're not going to worry about renegotiating contracts. We are just going to go to the playoffs. Let's see if we make it and can turn the season around. All right, year 5 is in the books, the end of the rebuild. We don't make the playoffs as we go 8-9. Jordan Love, 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Danny Wharton just not putting up the production that Josh Jacobs did. Receiving-wise, Joey Booth, of course, a huge year, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Christian Watson, 8-3. Luke Musgrave, 7-5. Ricky Green, 6-6, and Friedman 5-3. Blocking gave up a lot of sacks, of course, from Zach Tom, who doesn't do that in real life. Edrin Cooper leading the team in tackles. Elijah Donald in tackles for loss, and Elijah Donald in sacks. Rashawn Gary with only 5. Faulkner with 5. 5 interceptions from Edrin Cooper, 3 from Brents, 3 from Bullard, 1 from Nugent, and 1 from Moss. Not a great year. We're going to go ahead and see who wins the Super Bowl here. All right, the season recap. The Buffalo Bills finally get a Super Bowl, and they beat the Panthers. No award winners for us. Just a dreadful way to end the rebuild. Not even making the playoffs in year 5, which seems to happen a lot, even though I've put together a really good team. I believe Christian Watson finally regressing, who even with superstar dev never developed the way you would hope. The offensive line is really good. Got a good running back to continue to develop. Jordan Love, superstar X Factor. Defensively, the D-line never did its job. Edrin Cooper developed really well. Javon Bullard developed really well. Of course, we added Kirkpatrick that developed nicely. Moss developed nicely. Like I said, Rashawn Gary lost his superstar dev and just never got it back. Never got pressures. Probably should have changed the playbook early on. I think in his career, obviously, this is when we took over. This is when we took over. He had 9 sacks last year in real life, coming off of a torn ACL. Right? Great year coming off of a torn ACL. Then we get him. He gets 5 sacks. 8 sacks 1 year. Oh, stepping it up. Nope. 2, no injuries. 6, no injuries. 5, no injuries. That's a little tough. Jordan Love, let's take a look at his stats. Because if he continues this, obviously, this was last year, IRL, 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Great year from him as a first-year starter. But came back the next year, threw a little many interceptions, a lot of touchdowns total. And, we get some years like this out of him, he will be considered the next great Packers quarterback. Christian Watson, he's one of the only people left on the team. If you get this out of him, Green Bay fans are insanely happy, right? Last year was a little bit of a letdown from his rookie year, but if he was to come out this year in real life, put up 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns, yeah, and just carry that for a couple years, probably be regarded as one of the best receivers from his class. Musgraves, I don't think had, I mean, not terrible, but not great. Kind of Rob Tonyan-esque, I would say, during his Green Bay days. You really hope for more. Lucas Van Ness, of course, never developed the way we wanted to. 4 sacks in real life last year. Only broke that once. And this last year, he wasn't even like getting steady snaps. He was just kind of a backup, very specific pass down player. So for us to have him as a starter over Preston Smith all these years and not be able to break 4 sacks is upsetting. Javon Bullard, the now rookie, having a really good career so far in Green Bay. No sacks, 7 total interceptions, just played lights out, got dev traits. So that we'll look at Booth because we drafted him, fairly early on. He spent his entire career and he has put up buku numbers, insane touchdowns, 13 touchdowns his rookie year, 17 his sophomore year, and 9 this past year. But that will do it for this rebuild, guys. I wish we would have gotten a Super Bowl with Green Bay, as again, they're my favorite team. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more rebuilds, or if there's a specific rebuild you want to see, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments, what do you think Green Bay's record is going to be at the end of the year? Until next time, folks, have a good one.